Hi, I'm Raj Shekhar. I'm currently doing my computer science engineering at Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, Coimbatore. I'm the leader of team Unorthodox Inc. and we are doing the project detection of mental health condition with thermal facial imaging. And I've split this video into 4 parts. The first part contains team introduction. The second part contains the presentation of the problem. The third part contains presentation of the solution. And the fourth part contains explanation of the hardware and software part of it. So this is my teammate. He'll explain who he is.
Hi, I'm Sudarshan. I'm currently doing my computer science and engineering BTech degree from Amrita University, Coimbatore. I have spent significant amount of time in understanding and applying deep learning and machine learning techniques to solve real world problems. I assisted in creating a deep learning model which predicts this mental health state of the person accurately by means of taking infrared images and thermal imaging of the patients.
I'm doing my BTech in computer science at Amrita University, Coimbatore. I contributed in this project by helping in development of the front-end development.
Hi, I am Anas Kumar. I am currently doing my BTech in computer science at Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, Coimbatore. I do the R&D part in this project and help in the ideation process.
In order to actually collect the experts' advice on the problem, we refer the internet to find a video of Dr. Anuradha explaining the plight of mental health condition among Indians. So let's look at the video.
सही पूछें, साली खुशी की काफी कमी चल रही है कंट्री में. India is the most depressed country in the world, followed by China and the US, as per a 2018 report by World Health Organization. करीब 135 करोड़ की पॉपुलेशन है हमारी, जिसमें से 6.5% people are suffering from some form of mental illness. 6.5% मतलब करीब 8.5 करोड़ लोग, 8.5 करोड़ लोग suffering from mental health problem. This is more than the total population of South Africa. इसमें से करीब 5 करोड़ लोग suffer from depression और बाकी के करीब 3 करोड़ suffer from anxiety disorders including panic attacks, phobias, post-traumatic stress disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder. WHO estimates that हर 1 लाख लोगों में करीब 21 लोग सुसाइड कर रहे हैं. In fact, we have the highest number of teenage suicides globally. The rate of student suicides have increased by 52% from what it was in 2007. इंडिया के करीब आधे corporate employees anxiety या depression के शिकार हैं. And the economic loss due to mental health conditions between 2012 and 2030, it is estimated to be $1.03 trillion. All these crazy numbers sound like an epidemic, right? But you'll be surprised to know that most of these cases go unreported. According to the National Mental Health Survey 2016, depending on the state, 70 to 92% of those in need of mental health care fail to receive any treatment. इसका कारण? हमारे पास इतने मेंटल हेल्थ केयर प्रोफेशनल्स ही नहीं हैं कि इस सिचुएशन को हैंडल कर सकें. WHO के अकॉर्डिंग इंडिया में हर 10 लाख लोगों के लिए मात्र 3 साइकियाट्रिस्ट, 0.7 साइकोलॉजिस्ट और 0.7 सोशल वर्कर्स हैं. वहीं कॉमनवेल्थ कंट्रीज में हर 10 लाख लोगों के लिए 5.6 साइकियाट्रिस्ट हैं. डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज से कंपेयर किया जाए तो वहां हर 10 लाख लोगों के लिए 66 साइकियाट्रिस्ट हैं. ऐसा इसलिए नहीं है कि हम गरीब देश हैं या हमारे पास कोई कमी है, but it is because for us as a society mental health doesn't hold the place of importance that other things do. इस देश में जितने लोगों को mental health care की जरूरत है, उसका नंबर इतना हाई होने के बावजूद mental health has forever been neglected. You'll be surprised to know that India spends 0.16% of the total union health budget on mental health, which is less than that of Bangladesh, which spends 0.44%. The developed nations' expenditure amounts to an average of 4%. अपने देश में यूनियन हेल्थ बजट खुद ओवरऑल बजट का सिर्फ 2.2% है, तो मेंटल हेल्थ का एक्चुअल बजट ओवरऑल बजट का सिर्फ 0.0036% रह जाता है. मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम्स एपिडेमिक की तरह फैल रही हैं. बट स्टिल इस इशू को एज अ होल कंट्री निग्लेक्ट करने का मेन रूट कॉज है द स्टिग्मा, टैबूज एंड मिथ्स बिहाइंड इट.
ये जो एक खौफ हमारे अंदर पैदा हुआ है, पागल, इससे हम डरते हैं. अगर मैं कहूँ कि भाई इस व्यक्ति को बहुत टेंशन होती है या ये बहुत घबराया हुआ है, ये परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकता, किसी साइकोलॉजिस्ट, किसी मनोवैज्ञानिक को दिखाओ. रात को अगर नींद नहीं आती, दिन में काम नहीं होता, तो किसी साइकाइट्रिस्ट को, मनोचिकित्सक को भी दिखा दो. कोई दवाई शायद देनी पड़ जाए. नहीं, पागल थोड़े ही है.
दिल में दर्द होता है तो हम भागे भागे हॉस्पिटल की तरफ जाते हैं. हाई बीपी, कोलेस्ट्रॉल, डायबिटीज, इन सब के लिए भर भर के दवाइयां खाते हैं। कॉमन कोल्ड तक के लिए कफ सिरप्स और क्या क्या नहीं करते। लेकिन मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम आते ही हम किसी के साथ शेयर नहीं करना चाहते, किसी की हेल्प नहीं लेना चाहते। मोस्टली घर वाले ही सपोर्ट नहीं करते तो बाहर वाले और सरकार क्या घंटा सोचेगी आपके बारे में। खैर, समझने वाली बात यह है कि मेंटल हेल्थ हमारी ओवरऑल हेल्थ का एक अहम हिस्सा है। इट इज नॉट जस्ट द एब्सेंस ऑफ मेंटल इलनेसेस। फिजिकल पेन इज मच मोर अपैरेंट, तो हमें पता चल जाता है, बट मेंटल पेन ये कम ड्रामेटिक होता है, धीरे से घुसता है, and it is much more common and much more hard to bear. और mostly हमें पता भी नहीं चलता, but almost सभी physical illnesses का major contributing factor emotional stress और बाकी mental disorders ही होते हैं।
मन प्रसन्न है तो तन प्रसन्न है ना। आपको सिर दर्द हो सकती है मानसिक रोग की वजह से, आपको पेट दर्द हो सकती है मानसिक रोग की वजह से।
ब्रेन ही तो हमारे सारे बॉडी फंक्शंस को कंट्रोल करता है। अगर वहीं कुछ लोचा हो जाए तो बाकी सब जगह का बैलेंस बिगड़ जाता है। One of my batchmates in college had extreme mood swings. I had some idea that something was up with him, but I was like, Sanuki. Later, after a few years, we heard the shocking news that he committed suicide. It hit us pretty bad. We found out that he had bipolar disorder. It hurts to think that we could have been more sensitive to him. We could have made him feel better, if not completely okay. If only we are more open to people around us and talk to them without judging them. To some people, this sounds like a first world problem. But mental health problems are a rising issue among the have-nots as well. Research findings have highlighted that financial hardship, physical illness, lack of education or skill, lack of basic resources, and inability to provide for one's family to be major factors that contribute to mental illness and suicide among the poor and underprivileged. तो किया क्या जाए?
देखो, solution जो है it has to come at multi levels. पहले तो awareness ही create करनी है. Government must come up with policies where they actually on a practical basis create this awareness through media, ताकि लोगों के अंदर से वो भय पागलपन का निकले और असली इलाज हम करना शुरू करें। दूसरा, मैं समझती हूँ कि educational institutions have a very big role to play. Look at the pathetic situation कि हर स्कूल में एक स्कूल काउंसलर है और बच्चे होंगे 2000-4000। रूरल हेल्थ में इसका क्या स्टेटस है? 0। जैसे हमारे अब आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर्स हैं, इनके साथ हेल्थ वर्कर्स हैं, मेडिकल हेल्थ वर्कर्स, इनके साथ मानसिक हेल्थ वर्कर्स या साइकोलॉजिकल हेल्थ, मेंटल हेल्थ वर्कर्स होने चाहिए।
So that survivors can openly share their stories. Battlers gain courage out of them, and we help each other grow stronger. Spread awareness about the importance of mental health. Share this video as much as possible. Awareness के साथ साथ policy makers से question करो. Tackling the mental health crisis should become a part of their vision document because it counts. Tell us in comments below how you think this problem can be solved.
So let's jump straight into the presentation. So this is Team Unorthodox Inc. So the theme that we have chosen is AI in healthcare, and the problem statement is inaccuracy and uncertainty in diagnosing mental health diseases like stress, depression, and anxiety. So when we go to a psychiatrist, he gives us a standardized questionnaire, and based upon the options that we select in the multiple choice questions that he presents, he comes to a conclusion whether whether we have a particular mental health condition or not. So this solution is basically not 2019. I mean, we've in an era where even our blood sugar levels are measured in a remote device, and till now there is no much research in mental health division where there's going to be a device that actually measures the amount of mental health condition that they are in. So that, I think, is the problem statement that we've chosen, and the inspiration of the problem is that, so we saw this newspaper article where Sarah Taylor, an English women cricketer, was about to miss the World T20 just because she had anxiety problems. She was physically fit, she was one of the best players of England, but still she was not in a position to play the World Cup because she had anxiety condition. And we also noticed that there is an increasing awareness towards this phenomena called mental health, because physical labors are about to, the number of physical labors are getting decreased because of automation, and in future there will only be laborers who work mentally. So the care for mental health will become, the need for the care for mental health is going to increase in future, and that is the futuristic aspect that we are trying to cash in on. And the gravity of the problem, So the two paragraphs that are shown in this PPT are taken from newspaper articles, and according to a survey conducted by Money Control, an organization, it reveals that 95% of Indian millennials are stressed compared to global average of 86%. Making matters worse, 1 in 8 Indians have serious trouble in dealing with stress, but nearly 75% of Indian respondents said they don't feel comfortable talking to a medical professional about their stress. So that point is to be highlighted because a medical professional dealing with a mental health mentally affected person is not going to be of much help, because the interpersonal relationship between a mentally weak person and a psychiatrist is not going to be strong in such a mental condition. So this article was published on Business Today on 9th of July 2018. So the inspiration for a solution. So all of this started when I first saw this meme, which says the different types of headaches are felt at different parts of the brain. Migraine is felt at different part, hypertension at different, stress at different part, and this meme gave me a curiosity to search in this field to come up with a research that says. Our body heat map can reveal the kind of emotion that we are undergoing. I further went deep to the science, and it says the feelings that we undergo are nothing but the outcome of certain hormones that are being secreted in our body. And say for example, when we fear something, there's this hormone called cortisol that secretes in our body that heats up certain parts of our body. So different hormones are the cause for different emotions that we feel, and each and every hormone heats up different parts of the body. So these differences in the kind of emotions that we feel can be detected by um, the heat map, body heat map of our body. So with this technology that we have with this research that we have in our hand, it was a research being conducted by Aalto University upon 700 volunteers from Finland, Sweden, and Thailand. With this research, we derived our solution, and our solution is the detection of mental health diseases with accuracy by means of generating a body heat map of the patient with the help of a thermal camera, and applying techniques of image processing and deep learning image classifying models to measure the magnitude of the detected disease. So that's one. That's our solution in a single line. You can possibly imagine what we are trying to do with our solution. So this is our approach. That's this user, and he interacts. There's no interaction between the user, and there's no physical interaction between the user and the device. That's this device, that's the thermal camera that takes the picture of the user, and that image is posted to a Django framework. That Django framework sends the image to a Python code that has convolutional neural network model, and that code classifies the images into the particular mental health condition that he has, and the results of the classifications are being displayed back in the same web application that we use to collect the data. And the flow is simple. So the step 1 is taking the photo, step 2 is the classification, step 3 is the processing in order to derive the intensity of the condition, and step 4 is the displaying of the results. So such is the model, flow of our solution. And then this is the mock-up front end that we have created. So the front end is simple. All you have to do is to choose that particular thermal facial image and upload it, and then click diagnose in order to get the results. So we've kept the front end simple and neat, so that it is easy for anybody who's even not in the computer science background to access our access our portal in order to get his disease diagnosed. So in order for us to get the data set, that was the most challenging part, and we surfed the internet for a week to find out that there's a repository created by Dr. Professor Xavier Malduch, and it was encrypted, and so we mailed him to get the credentials. So he was kind enough to mail us back the credentials and let us access his data set. So we got the data set from Canada. So he has actually recorded the stress levels of the patient while at the time of taking thermal facial images of patients. So that was 66 GB of data that we downloaded, and with that we trained our model. And after training, the algorithm that we used is convolutional neural network, and the architecture that we used was the standard architecture. The activation function was the sigmoid function. The type of classification as of now is binary classification. The batch size is 16, the number of layers is 6, and the labeling is stressed and not stressed. So as of now, we are trying to classify the images between whether the person is stressed or not stressed. So the tech stacks that we used was Keras, Scikit-Image, Amazon Web Service for training, TensorFlow for training, and Pandas for the data visualization. We didn't use Raspberry Pi. That was here by mistake. We used Django framework. We used OpenCV for the processing. We used Firebase for storing the data, and we are using Heroku to host our web application. So the technology behind the solution. So data sets of hundreds of such labeled body heat maps can be collected and are fed to the image classifying model empowered by the CNN for training. The trained model will thus be able to map the given unlabeled body heat map to its corresponding mental health condition with the help of deep learning, and the magnitude of thus identified condition can be computed by means of image processing with the help of the color scale. So the business impact and the social impact that we are trying to achieve with this product is that it can be an accurate tool, analytical tool for the psychiatrists. That's the most important use case that we are targeting. And the second one is it could be also an essential tool for the counselors and caretakers that are in school, colleges, and offices. Schools and colleges and offices are the places where a lot of people get stressed and would need help immediately. And then we found that there's not much of a research in mental health domain because people consider that as a sophistication, and I think researchers are not being done predominantly on that particular field just because a lack of a technology to actually go and do their research. So this technology could actually leverage and bring up more researchers on this particular domain, resulting in a huge and tremendous growth in that domain. And the business impact that we are visualizing is this was a statistics that was published by Union Health Ministry in 2017 that says India is short of 13,500 psychiatrists, and that means there's a huge demand for such technology, and there's huge demand to solve that particular problem. And it also again reconfirms the gravity of the problem. And so that's that, and we need a lot more mental hospitals as well. And the business potential that we are visualizing with our product is that, the single biggest goal we have with our product is that we need with our model is that we want to see each and every healthcare unit in India, ranging from small clinics to multi-specialty hospitals, to take into consideration their patients' mental health and check if they are a victim, just like how every 35-plus-year-old is checked for one's blood pressure level with sphygmomanometer, whether or not one's got a problem with it. And that is also the business impact that we are aiming to create with our model. So we provided the reference links with this PPT. You can go through them. They are mostly the research papers being published by the people from our faculty from Alto University. So this is the backend part of the code. We are using Keras as the library in order to build the convolutional neural network model, and Keras in turn uses TensorFlow in order to train the images. And we import certain methods called sequential convolutional 2D, max pooling, flatten and dense in order to make the model perform those calculations and finally arrive at the classification. We have inserted the data set in the corresponding folders. You can see them. The training set, we've branched them into two data sets, and you can see the data set here. And so these data sets we train to finally arrive at the we train these data to get the model that is saved. The weights of the model are saved in the model.h file format, and then it goes to the app, where the app actually gets the test image and then predicts and publishes the result whether the given person is a stressed or not stressed person. So that's basically the back end part of the app. So this is the front end part of the app. We've done this app through the basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript combination, and all we did is a simple and very much user friendly UI, and you can have a look at the UI here. So I can choose the file here, and and these are some of the test images that I collected from Google Images. And if I click diagnose, the image through Flask API goes to the backend, and then the image gets processed, and then finally the result is published as an alert. So that's how the entire web app functions. And the way we are going to market this is by selling the hardware devices separately to the hospitals, and then giving this front end web app software in a subscription basis, so that there's consistent and constant revenue that is being generated out of it. And having a cloud platform integrated with it is much essential for it, and hence we chose the client Heroku in order to host our web app. The process of hosting is yet to be done, and once we host, we'll send the link to you. And after hosting, I think this prototype will pretty much be can be usable, and it will actually perform the required classification not to get the diagnose the particular person as whether he's stressed or not. So that is the total software part of our solution. So as far as hardware is concerned, we are choosing FLIR1 Pro thermal imaging camera attachment for Android, because we feel that if the hardware was ultra small, I think the use case would be much better, because it can be used anywhere. Because a lot of people, India is a country where there are 500 million smartphones, and smartphone attachable thermal camera can do things in a better way. So we are yet to buy the hardware because it's extremely costly, and we've ordered a cheaper version of it, and that is yet to arrive. So as of now, we don't have the hardware with us, but then we are planning to invest on this particular device, which would be much helpful in order for us to actually implement the solution. So FLIR is the leading company that in thermal imaging, so we are going with FLIR. So we've come to the end of our video presentation. So all that we've tried to do is to create a prototype in order to prove the world that it is possible to classify between thermal images to finally arrive at a conclusion of whether a person is on a particular mental health condition or not. So this is not the final product. I mean, our final product would be a product which classifies the thermal image into different fields, not just whether the person is stressed or not. It will classify if the person is stressed or anxious or angry or fearsome, or into different mental health conditions, so that it gets wide. I mean, it has a general purpose. It has a huge scope. Huge scope, and we believe it is truly achievable, and any computer science student knows that it is also technologically feasible in order to create such a model. So that is the thing that we want you to take away from this video, and thank you. That's it.